Meowdy. You've got new stuff to unbox. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another sponsored video. Thank you to FIFINE for sending the H13 headset, the wired headset, over for me to check out. I normally do an unboxing. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to include that, but for the sake of consolidating today's video, you can check out the unboxing on my show form. I'll leave the link in the description of this video just in case you want to check out what's in here, but the gist is headset. I'm going to get this plugged in to my computer here and get everything set up. In the meantime, while I'm doing that, let me go over just a few specs, kind of what you can expect from this headset here. Nothing fancy, nothing, over the top or anything like that, just, decent headset. So let's take care of that real quick and I'll jump right back here, okay? Now, while we're getting this all connected here, I do want to say that the build is fairly decent for the price range. It's lightweight, but there are some metal elements to it, so it's a bit on the sturdy side, which I definitely like. I've been wearing this for about a week or two now, give or take a few days. I've been using it to do some editing. I've been using it to do a little bit of gaming. It's pretty solid so far. What's nice is everything's kind of situated here on its little hub. You can control your EQ, you can control your volume, you can control your mix, you can control some of the dynamics of the surround. You can also enable the AI noise cancellation feature on this microphone, which we are definitely going to talk about. So once you get everything all plugged in via USB, what you're going to want to do is, in Windows 11, what you're going to want to do is head to System, Sound, Volume Mixer. Then you're going to make sure you can spot your output and your input device. First thing you're going to do is go to Output. You're going to select the headset earphone FIFINE H13 game. And then for the input device, it's going to be the microphone that's on the headset. So you're going to drag that down, select headset microphone FIFINE H13 chat. And that's going to allow you to use the little on-cable module thing to control your mix. Oh, and one quick note I do need to make is routing in OBS is a little bit more in depth. So you may want to set that up separately once you get your basic sound mix set up first. Okay, we are good to go now. Check this out. You know what's next. We're gonna do a little bit of testing just to kind of give you an idea of how everything works, how everything sounds. And also I want to showcase the DeNoising that this mic has, which is kind of awesome. I will say this, I wasn't expecting AI DeNoise to be, this decent, but don't worry, I'm gonna show you. So first off, what you're hearing right now is just the audio off of this mic, nothing fancy, nothing special. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my other mic here to compare. So you're gonna hear this mic first, you're hearing this mic first. Then we're going to compare this to this, but I think we're gonna do this first. I have been using these for about a week, give or take a few days, almost 2 weeks. I've been using basically to edit. I did a few gaming sessions, nothing super complicated, just normal everyday use. I don't normally use wired headsets, so it's a little bit of an adjustment for me, but we'll go over that in just a second. So right now, if you couldn't guess, we're gonna do a little bit of audio testing. So first off, you're just listening to this right now. You're just listening to my wireless mic going straight into the camera. Nothing fancy, just wanted to get that out of the way. But what we're gonna do now is, we're switched over to headset mic. And I will say this. So let me get this adjusted just a little bit, but I will say this. Straight out of the headset, not too bad. I'm not gonna lie. It could be a lot worse. My first headset was no brands or anything like that, but my first headset was a wired headset. We wired straight into at the time a laptop, then at the other time a desktop PC. But the point is, it was wired and it had a little hub like this, and I was never quite happy with the audio coming out of that mic. It sounded basically like a drive-through kind of situation, hence upgraded mics pretty quickly. But this one, as you're hearing now, is not the worst. This PC next to me is fairly loud. I have the fans going. I don't have it on silent or anything like that. Competing with that is a little bit tricky, especially if I'm streaming from that PC. and running a game too, it tends to get a little bit loud. But AI denoise on this thing is pretty heckin' awesome. So you're hearing it without the denoising on. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on right now. So we have a little button indicator letting you know that it's on. And this is how it sounds. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this back off and we're going to sit in silence. I'm going to turn this back on and you're going to kind of hear what it does. So here we are. AI noise, or AI denoising is off. This is kind of what you hear. I'm going to point my head a little bit closer to the PC just in case it picks up a little bit. But now we're going to turn this on. So click AI noise or AI denoise on. Not too bad in my opinion. Just saying. I did run this through OBS, and on my OBS I have a ton of compressors, a ton of denoising going on for my mics because it tends to get a little bit loud. But for this, I was kind of able to turn off most of my denoising plugins. I really only have an EQ and a gain, and it sounds pretty heckin' awesome. So we might be able to kind of nix the external microphones and all that stuff and just run everything off the headset, which would be kind of convenient. It's definitely convenient for a mobile setup. Anyway, I am kind of rambling. Bottom line, I really dig the audio coming out of this. I would say that if you're going to be doing any kind of YouTube work or anything like that, and you don't want to get a bigger mic and audio interface, or even just a mic that plugs in USB, you can get away with this. You can still monitor, you can edit, you can do all your voiceovers from this. It'll get the job done. I'm pretty excited about that. Anyway, let's switch over. So what we're going to do now, take these off, and then we're going to go over to just an external mic setup so you can kind of hear how that is. Okay, now we are on mic audio. So all I'm going to do for this is just boost the audio just to kind of match everything else that's been going on. I have this mic muted. It turns red when you're muted, which is very convenient because you can just kind of glance down and see that, oh, oops, you guys can't hear me. But this is kind of what the mic sounds compared to everything else. So if you want to just kind of jump back and forth, you can hear the difference between the two. It's significant, but I'm just going to say, this is going through a $250 interface, maybe a little bit more. The mic itself plus the stand is quite a bit more than the headset is. So you're kind of just consolidating everything with one headset. And I would say it's comparable. It's not better, don't get me wrong, because you can get a lot done with this setup. But it's comparable. If you don't want to have all this stuff on your desk and you just want to have a minimal setup, or say you're doing something remote and you're, traveling or anything like that, and you still have to check in with the stream or two, this is kind of a great way to go. By the way, we're back on this audio. It was a little bit tough to kind of have the headset on with blah, blah, blah. It was just a little much for me at the time. Don't worry about it. But yeah, let's go back. So audio is pretty good. Let's talk about the EQ. The EQ is kind of okay. I didn't really notice too much, I'm gonna be honest. I do keep it on the music profile the most because I found that that's a little bit more pleasing to my ears. Mainly because I've been using this mostly for editing and a little bit of gaming. I do switch it to gaming. I don't really like the movie mode so much. I switch it to gaming for games, and even watching like YouTube videos and stuff like that. I kind of keep it on the gaming just because I kind of prefer that. I will say that it's a bit more on the flat side. There's some good bass, there's some good trebles, but you're gonna want to go in and EQ everything to your liking, which is not a bad thing. I don't want to say that and make it sound like a bad thing. Nice, more neutral profile it's a little bit easier to work with, in my opinion. When I get something that's a little bit more bass heavy or a little bit more treble heavy, then I have to work a little bit more, but this played very well with all my current EQ setup, and I didn't really have to do anything to kind of adjust and make any concessions for this. So FYI. But overall, it's a stinking great headset. I really was not expecting the AI denoise to be so good on this thing. I really was expecting to not use the mic. I'm gonna be honest. I was expecting to use this setup just because it plays well together. They all look great together. I would have a good time kind of wearing these, using these for edit. But I'm not gonna lie, the microphone on this thing is probably pretty awesome. That coming from my last headset, coming from most headsets in this price range. Don't get me wrong, audio is going to be decent across the board, but I was very impressed with the AI denoise feature on this headset. At the time of recording, this is around $45, $55. So depending on when you buy this, it may be less, it may be more. Just keep that in mind. I would definitely try to get this on a good sale. If you can get this around the $40 to $50 range, that would be amazing. The AI feature on this, the AI DeNoise feature on this is quite amazing. I was very shocked. I was expecting not the greatest. With my experience, I've had other microphones and other things like that have AI DeNoise, but they've always been kind of good enough. This is great. Big fan. If you need something simple, if you want to get something out of the box, plug it in and get to stream, get to voiceover, get to editing, this is going to be an awesome choice. I wouldn't necessarily recommend lugging this around unless you have a nice little case for it. For me, this is going to end up sitting on my wall here. I'm going to get a little mount. I'm going to keep this up here. That way, I can use that for editing, because right now I have to get a headset, plug it in, or use my wireless headset that has a little bit of latency. It's a little bit inconvenient, but now I'm going to have this guy right next to me, right with this awesome setup next to me. Not to say I won't take this with me somewhere if I need to, because this is a lot easier to take than an XLR mic, a stand, an audio interface, extra cables for all that good stuff, and a possible power supply depending on what you're running. This is just one headset, USB, straight into the computer. Gotta love it. Gotta love the lights also. All right, I will leave the link for this in the description. I'll leave the direct link and then the Amazon link if you want to snag this on Amazon. But other than that, I think it's a great buy for something like a headset that you want to leave at your desk. I won't take it with me most places just because I don't necessarily need to, but it would be my first choice to bring with me if I need an editing setup that I can fit in like a suitcase or a larger bag, or something that's not so compact, but I still want good audio quality from input and output. Anyway, let me know what you think. I want to know, do you have one of these? If you have one of these, I want to know how you use it, and what color do you keep these on? I will always opt for rainbow RGBs, but I want to know what you got. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff if you want. If you don't, I don't care. You do you. I gotta go. Catch me on the stream. Let me know how this sounds. I want to hear from you. For real, I gotta go. Okay, bye.